Hey everyone, it's Jakov, and I'm back again today with another video for the channel. Today's video being a battle replay for Total War the Dawnless Days. For those of you new here, Total War the Dawnless Days is a mod for Total War Attila set in the Third Age of Middle-earth, and I very much do encourage you guys to play it. I'll leave it linked in the description down below. Today's battle replay has been sent in by one of my favourite subscribers, Ellan Enish. We sent in yet another battle replay of him leading an army of the Haradrim, going toe-to-toe with another player called Shrex, I believe, leading an army of Imladris. Anyway guys, I'm going to put the battle into slow motion. We'll check out both armies and see the clash that follows. So this is the Haradrim army, and looking at it, at the back they've got, I can't put in normal speed, at the back they've got their general unit, heavy shock infantry, slow motion maybe. Then in front of them they've got the serpent warriors, some of their shock infantry, more serpent warriors, absolutely amazing looking unit, more Adunakori, their most elite shock infantry, and yeah, then more Adunakori. Then in the second row of their army they've got the Umbar usurpers, their tier 3 professional infantry, however there's only a few of these guys available per army. Then ahead of them they've got the serpent spearmen, their professional tier 3 infantry, which do not have a limit on them, which is quite good to see. A couple of units of them. And then out in front of their army they've got the Corsair archers, which are a tier 2 regional unit, specifically the Corsairs of Umbar. Do they have any other archers? Corsairs. And then they've got a unit of Haradrim archers, which are a bit more standardized. Then turning to the rest of their army, they've got the Desert Raiders and Desert Raiders, so they've got 2 units of skirmishers off in the distance getting ready to advance. Then turning to the large, well, smaller but still fairly sizable, I know, actually half the size, turning to the far smaller Imladris army, which is made up entirely of professional infantry. We've got the Guards of Imladris, their elite pike infantry unit.
We have sighted the enemy.
We've got the Noldoran archers, we've got Noldoran swordsmen, we've got Noldoran horsemen, so they're heavy shock cavalry, and yeah, more Noldoran swordsmen. Do they have any spearmen? Does the faction even have any spearmen? It's archers and more heavy cavalry. So yeah, as you can tell, both armies have brought something a bit different to the field. The Noldoran army, should I say the Imladris army, is very much more professional and has heavy cavalry, but lacks spear infantry apart from their pikemen. They're very much like an elite force, which makes sense given that the Imladris faction is so restricted when it comes to units, whereas the Haradrim force looks to be a mix of both professional infantry and, or like the professional standard infantry, and the sub-factional units that they've got, such as the Corsairs of Umbar, which is why like a large portion of the army is made up of those units. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this. The balance of power is fairly balanced, but the Haradrim outnumber them significantly. We're going to put the battle into normal speed, see where it goes from here. Actually, maybe you might change the sound a little bit, just to make it a slight bit quieter for your guys' viewing entertainment. And there we are, the army's advancing. Over here, the Noldoran shock cavalry is just going straight charging into the skirmisher cavalry. If I was them, I'd be pulling these guys back and kiting. Instead, they're going to charge right in. And I don't know about this. Having the cavalry engage in such a manner is... these guys are skirmishers. Their whole point is to harass the enemy units and then charge in, and not allow themselves to be smashed into by heavy cavalry. Though this is smart, pinning them down with one and allowing the other one to shoot them in the back. As you can see, the elves are made of some tight, stern stuff. They charge straight into their back, trying to do a bit more damage. I don't know, this isn't it as far as I'm concerned. As you can tell, there's just a massive imbalance. Now their archers, well, both sides' archers are opening fire, trying to clear the path for their cavalry.
The men have broken and are fleeing.
One unit's gone. Is it shattered? No, just broken. But that now leaves this one very vulnerable unit of desert raiders, and then turning back here. This is an interesting formation. They pulled all their archers out to harass them on this flank. Now they're pulling them back to bring them in behind the walls of their army, and they're going to keep their shock infantry in reserve, I'm guessing, or they're pushing them through. I would not... Well, going on the offensive with the shock infantry is the right choice. Using them defensively is a bad idea, but now they're somewhat vulnerable to the front lines. Cavalry swinging around here trying to kite them out. So shock infantry advancing of the elves. And the unbarred usurpers are moving forward. Now guys, let me know in the comments what you think the cause of this battle is. Between the Elves of Imladris and the men of Harad going to war. This will be an interesting one. I think the elves should have the advantage, but I may be wrong. Smart, they're kiting down the heavy infantry in the rear. Oh, that's brutal. But yeah, the more of these guys they kill, the easier it'll be for them, because they can't then deploy into battle, and they are vulnerable to archers. And it's also the general unit too, which I didn't realise. So yeah, they're just sniping the general before he can deploy.
Our men have regrouped.
Over in the corner, the cavalry still duking it out. They'd recovered, broken, broken. Again, their skirmish abilities are the key to winning here. They can break one cavalry unit, they're set. Whereas over here, ooh, nasty. Northern horsemen have been caught out by the serpent spearmen who they've done damage to. But another spear unit has come in. Two spear units attacking on both sides. These guys might not be long for this world. Sniping seems to have worked. The Haradrim general is down. Which, with him gone, his men are not going to be fighting quite as hard. And you can kind of see this unit's already wavering. The flanking behind by the Serpent Warriors is good. Smart move to get behind them. Try and carve down the elves as quickly as possible. But you can see the elves they're tough. Very tough. Over here they're fighting a 3v1 battle. And here they're losing, but I have a feeling that cavalry in the distance is going to have something to say about it. Which is why the spearmen are deploying, I'm guessing, to try and ward them off, which makes sense. Generals run in to join the fight here. Get rid of the cavalry, and it's a waste of a good unit being caught out and slaughtered in this way. Because it means now their units can all deploy into the fight. Archers are still engaging on both sides. Elves are beginning to run low. Cavalry swarming around trying to find a gap. I wonder how many elves imagine they died fighting under the sun of Harad. On those far southern shores. Interesting one to think about for certain. Although I think this map itself is not Harad, it is instead of Rhunic. So, east. But again, as I said before, let me know what you guys think was the reason behind this battle. And also, yeah, give us a like and subscribe. Do your part for the channel, as they say. Cavalry swung around and they've been caught out again.
Our men have given up and are running
They've
for their
broken the
lives.
enemy general unit completely, which is good. But the Serpent Spearmen, they'll do their job. I'd be pulling these guys out and hammer and anvil. Keeping them stuck in battle it's a good way to lose your mobility. And now that this unit of Northern Swordsmen is about to become completely obliterated, the only thing that the elves have left are their pikemen. And their archers, admittedly. But their pike units are quite vulnerable to the massive amount of firepower they're facing. So they're pulling back their pikes so their archers can deploy. Smart. they're throwing their archers into the fire as swordsmen. Archers into shock infantry. Even if they're elven, that's not going to go well. Especially with these spearmen about to swing around, taking the rear. Archers still firing. Yeah, I'd say this battle is looking more and more in favour of the Noldor. Sorry, more and more in favour of the Haradrim rather than the Noldor. Pikemen are just going to be shot to pieces.
We have gained the upper hand.
And horribly for them, the Corsair archers still have a significant amount of ammunition, so they can more than make a dent in those pikemen. I just love how cool they're doing the core. There's just something about them. More and more of the archers are dying.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
It's just smart. Are they going to advance? Or no? I mean, yeah, just hitting these guys with as many arrows as possible is just the way to go. Like, you want to bleed their formation as much as possible. I do like this little hedgehog formation they've got going. And these 3 or 4 archer units here are... yeah, they're not long for this world. So I do like the contrast of the dark red with the gold and silver actually of the Haradrim units. It looks amazing. And they're still yet to advance. So I'm guessing they're going to send in the archers first, now that they're out of ammo. Makes sense. I mean, these dudes are going to be slaughtered by the pikemen if they advance. To their credit, the archers are doing damage, but they're just a tad outnumbered, and these 2 archer units don't have much ammo left, but they still do a fair bit. And in they go. I think they're getting some friendly fire with their own troops, funnily enough. Flaming helmet and shoulder. I like that. Ah, poor dude. That's just horrible. Oh, this guy over here with the flaming tear. Little ghost rider Haradrim.
The men are broken and running for
Just
their
like
lives.
that. Unit down, but they've got the men to make this assault. I'm assuming this is the general, or is this the general? Yeah. This one here without the helmet must be the general. For pikemen, they're really enduring this barrage pretty damn well. We've got 3.5 minutes left on the clock.
A unit's ammunition is spent, and it can no
How
longer
well do
fire.
you reckon this is going to go? Like, I'm pretty sure the Haradrim are going to be the ones to win this. But what are the chances you think of the Elves pulling a victory out of the bag? In they go. And the archers are almost done. And back they go. Now this is smart, enveloping them on all. Ooh, there goes the front of their formation. So yeah, they're definitely doing the right thing, which is to surround them on all sides and then attack. They're reforming bit by bit to make the best of their numbers. And yeah, there's just something awesome about this image of this one soldier, 3 units just doing their best. And it begins. Or does it? Now it begins. See, and they're already out of formation. Got to drop those pikes.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
It's in the corners that you find the most of the games of attacking pikemen. Even when they're in blocks like this. The corners of the square or the triangle are the best to go. Not doing badly at all. Their general units taking more casualties than I expected. The archers might be part of that. Like, I'm guessing if they kill the general immediately here, they'll win the battle. But yeah, okay, that's why. Their formation's broken. General's gonna break, and yeah, the entire army's broken. An Empiric victory for Ellan Enish and his Haradrim force. And if you guys can hear that sound in the background, that'd be the rain, because where I'm living, we are going through a rainstorm all the damn time. Anyways, I'm going to end the replay and we'll check out both armies' stats to see how they did. Honestly, good effort by both forces. Looking at Ellan Enish and his Haradrim army, his general only got 4 kills. Umbar Usurpers generally didn't do too well. The Serpent Warriors did great, actually getting 99 kills, 64 and 154 apiece. Aduna Kori did pretty damn good, 162.99. Spearmen didn't do great, but then again, they're not meant to. Archers didn't do too well. The Desert Raiders did quite poorly, all things considered. Turning to the Imladris force under the command of Shrek, his force was much smaller, but in general, each of his units got way more kills. His general got 102, his swordsman got 85, 115, 132 and 93. It's pretty good. His pikeman got 94 and 75, which isn't great. But given the circumstance, I can understand why I didn't get that many kills. The archers all got in the 30s or 40s, which is significantly better than the Haradrim, but it's not quite good enough. And then his cavalry got 112 and 58, which is significantly better, but again, wasn't quite enough. I think a more judicious use of those would have turned the battle in his favour. Now, if you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe. I know it might not seem like much for you guys, but such a small channel, it truly does mean the world. If you guys have battle replays you want me to cover, you can either send them to me via the Total War the Dawnless Days Discord or the Last Alliance Total War Discord, or you can send them to my email, which is linked in the video description and also in my channel description. All that said, guys, rest assured more videos on this mod and many others will be coming up, including a new mod that I've discovered that I've gotten quite a bit of interest for. And the only hint I'll say to that is if you guys are a fan of Game of Thrones, or specifically the Song of Ice and Fire books, you guys might be interested in what's coming up soon. That said, this is your host Jakov, signing out.